Not African. We are not African, nor are we African American. That name Africa was given to those people on that continent for us to believe over here that those are the only people that we have.
We are not Africans. Stop confusing people. That's one of the texts I got on one of my videos about Jamaica, I think. Caribbean, yeah. How are you, my people? I am the Kenyan Beast, and of course, come with me. Let's roll the African way. I'm saying African way because I love Africa and I'm doing it the African way. That's why, as content creators, we are trying hard to connect the bridge between Africans and Black Americans, Africans and Caribbeans, Africans and Black who are outside Africa, who have the roots of Africa. So, we are trying. There is this one video I did about Caribbean, and there's one comment I got, someone saying that we are not African, stop confusing us, confusing people. I was like, oh, yo, don't use you. Say I am not African. Stop confusing me. but it was, everyone has its own opinion. You can choose to be, if you are Black and you have the roots from Africa and you are staying in America, or you are Jamaican, you are where, you can choose to be not to be Africa. Yeah, I don't force, and we don't force you to be Africa, but for the sake of our generation, for the sake of our coming generation, for the sake of 21st century and maybe 22nd century, let me say, for the sake of 21st century, we need to trace our roots, and we need to bring all these things that we were brainwashed that this and this and this. Okay, there is no one day I've seen an American, there's no one day I've seen an European, a white person coming to Africa, staying like 2 years in Africa and 5 years in Africa, then he says that I'm not American, I'm African, you know. He can't say that. But as Africans, we are choosing a different path. That we are maybe in the US, we have stayed there like 10 years, and we started like, yo, I'm not African, I'm American. Maybe you have the green card and you choose. No, you are African. You are African. You know the culture of Africa. We share the same. You know, it's not all about the color, but it has a lot in it. The DNA is African. Yeah. So most people say that yo, you see, maybe I'm Jamaican, maybe I'm Dominican, I'm Haitian, I'm not African. Yeah, you are not African, but you have the roots of Africa. That makes you African. Okay. So we still have a lot to do. We still have a lot to do to connect the bridge, to connect the difference we have between maybe African American and Africa. Okay, some people say we are Black American, we are not African American, and that's true. I accept that. Now, the person who commented on my video saying that we are not African, stop confusing us. I don't know if he's from Jamaica. I don't know if he is from Dominican, because a lot of Dominicans say they are not Africa, they are not Black, they are Dominican, and that's right. I accept with them. They are Dominican. Yeah, like for me, I am African, but I'm a Kenyan. African from Uganda. Africa from Ghana. I am African and I'm a Nigerian. So I'm not Black. I'm a Black person. I'm a Kenyan. A Black person, South Africa. But Dominicans say they are not Black, they are Dominican. So I don't know what's the take of that. But our generation, we are trying we are trying more we are trying so hard to do what? To bring those differences we have, you know. Our four-grandfathers were African, and after it happened, what happened? Now, people find themselves in Grenada, Jamaica, Dominican, Haiti. You were born there, but you have an African root. Okay? So, it depends on what you choose for yourself. If you choose to remain not to be an African, that's okay. I'm very happy with these footballers. Maybe he is from England or he's from America, and he discovers that he has roots in Africa, and he chooses to play for the African country. That's so good of it, and I love that. So we need to learn every day. Every day we need to learn. We share the same culture. We share everything that, that make us all to be African. Our musicians like Bob Marley, our musicians have been doing what? Like spreading this message of African unite, and Africans are everywhere. There's this Bishop Joshua, I think, Mpomba, Bishop something. He is preaching about Africa. So we need to get this together. So I know maybe you don't accept to be African. Maybe you think Africa is poor. Maybe you think Africa is this and this. But Africa is not poor. Africa is very beautiful. Africa is very rich. But we still live under the colony. We still live under the influence of the West. We still live under the influence of, the whites. So that's why you see we are rich, but we cannot bring up our richness so well because of the influence from the West. But if by any chance we accept our unity, we accept our Africanism, we accept our, and we come together, like this thing of African being seen as a maybe poor continent, it will end. But we are the youths to do that. And a big up to all content creators who are trying to do that. Big up to all content creators who are trying to do that. And we will unite, of course. One day, one of these fine days, a Jamaican will accept to be African. A Dominican will accept that he is from Africa. A Haitian will accept, sent to. Yeah, they will accept to be African. So, I know you say you are not African, but you have the blood of Africa. The color is Africa. What do you think on your comment section? Do you think that it's time for people to trace their roots? It's time for blacks to trace their roots? What do you say? On the comment section. I am the Kenyan Beast. Come with me. Let's roll the African way.